There is a crisis of mental health in Pakistan. At a conservative estimate, almost 45 to 50 million people are in need of mental health care. This includes about 20% of the adult population who are suffering from common mental disorders, that is, mild to moderate levels of depression and anxiety, about 10% of children, and 4 to 5% of people with serious mental disorders and drug addiction. There are an estimated 10 to 15,000 suicides in Pakistan every year, and almost 500,000 people attempt suicide, majority of them suffering from some form of psychological problem. Despite this huge burden, mental health services are not developed in Pakistan and are limited to the psychiatry departments of the medical colleges, most of which are in the cities. People have to travel long distances from the rural areas to seek treatment in the cities. Private mental health care is extremely expensive and unaffordable to the vast majority of the people. Part of the reason why mental health burden is so high in Pakistan is because of the societal stress due to the social problems faced by the people. Problems such as poverty, unemployment, terrorism, violence, lack of law and order, lack of housing and education, and domestic violence, amongst others.
Yeah, COVID-19 has been, an extraordinary situation globally, not just in Pakistan. Of course, as we also know, globally, it has presented a lot of mental health challenges for people. In Pakistan in particular, of course, there has been already such a lack of awareness about mental health that with something like COVID, a lot of issues have become exacerbated and they've worsened. So the general population has been feeling a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. We've never experienced something like lockdown before. Loss of employment, loss of other social support services. So people really just have no way out in the COVID scenario when they were in lockdown. So that has really affected mental health drastically. Plus, there are those people who already have mental health conditions who were not able to seek care appropriately and timely during the crisis, which again has worsened their conditions as well. And so we've seen just a lot of people having a lot of anxiety, a lot of panic, a lot of depression with what's happening now, but also the uncertainty of the future and what they're going to do. A lot of it is also very much related to socio-economic conditions, especially for the lower income classes who are unable to go out and get work and seek the opportunities they need to provide for their families.
A 2006 study looking at the economic burden of mental illness in Pakistan showed that it costs almost US $42 billion every year, the vast majority of which is out-of-pocket expenditure.
So in terms of investment, again, we often think of finances, but the first investment that needs to come is the political will and commitment to develop a mental health plan, a policy, a strategy, objectives, and indicators that those objectives are being met. So that needs to be in place. It needs to come from the government, the federal government, and the provincial government needs to also be part of that. And unless that happens, there's already smaller groups, NGOs that are doing work, but that remains limited in scope and breadth, because only the governments can bring true change. So I think a plan, and then following that, definitely budget allocation needs to happen.
There is an urgent need to address the mental health problem in Pakistan. There is a need for the government to invest more and to commit to mental health care. We need a national mental health policies in all stakeholders, the government, advocacy group, policymakers, public and mental health professionals, as well as NGOs and civil society need to come together to address this huge burden of mental health care in Pakistan.
I think the role of people who have lived experience is crucial in guiding what the policy and the plan should be, because not just wellness, illness, treatment, all of those are contextual notions. They're always in the context of a setting, and only persons who've had the experience can guide us in telling and letting us know what works best for our groups in terms of treatment, what source, how to access it, what is wellness, how do we define it. So definitely I think persons with lived experience should have a central role in developing any plans we devise for mental health.
Let's move for mental health.
I struggled myself when I was in Pakistan team, getting out from Pakistan team, having issues with my form as well. And that's the time I really struggled. And I was sad, I was depressed, and I wasn't performing well. Same time, like when I was working with Pakistan, so my missus went through the same issues because she was sad, she was looking after the kids on her own. So it wasn't that easy.
मेंटली तौर पर जो ताने होते हैं ना, वो इंसान को तोड़ देते हैं. जैसे सबसे पहले ससुराल में हर तरह से बोला गया कि तुम्हारी वजह से गए हैं छोड़कर, ये वो. फिर अम्मी के घर आ गई हूँ, वहाँ पे वो सही भी बोल रहे होते थे तो मुझे ऐसा ही लगता था. नेगेटिविटी इतनी अंदर थी कि वो हर चीज़ फील कर रही होती थी. वो हर चीज़ के अगर बच्चों की कोई ज़रूरत होती थी तो मैं बताती नहीं थी किसी को. वो खुद देखते थे कि इनको किस चीज़ की ज़रूरत है, दूध है बच्चों का, जो बेसिक चीज़ें होती हैं उनको भी मैं बोलते हुए शर्म आती थी. इनफैक्ट कि मैं अगर बीमार भी हो जाती थी तो मुझे शर्म आती थी कि मैं इनसे बोलूँ कि मुझे डॉक्टर के ले जाओ. तो इस तरह की बहुत ज़्यादा मैंने फेस किया.
जब मेरा बेटा एक दिन पैदा हुआ तो मुझे भी काफ़ी एंग्जाइटी, स्ट्रेस और I wouldn't say depression, लेकिन almost at the point of depression होने वाला था because we were very scared. He was born 2 months early और उसने almost 1.5 महीने ICU में गुजारे because वो premature था. और हम बहुत डरे हुए थे. हमारे लिए वो बहुत ही गंभीर और मतलब scary time था. लेकिन क्योंकि मेरी फैमिली, मेरे फ्रेंड्स, मेरे हस्बैंड बहुत सपोर्टिव थे और वो समझ रहे थे कि मुझ पे क्या गुजर रही है, स्पेशली आफ्टर बर्थ, जिनके मतलब बहुत सारी आई एम श्योर माएँ ये देख रही वीडियो. बर्थ के बाद आपके हार्मोन्स हर जगह होते हैं, ऊपर नीचे, कभी कभी आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा होता कि आपकी बॉडी के साथ और आपके माइंड के साथ क्या हो रहा है. फिर उसके ऊपर द ICU एक्सपीरियंस एंड द प्रीमेच्योरिटी ऑफ द बेबी, वो सब मिला जुला के मैं काफ़ी मतलब मुश्किल जगह पे आ गई थी.
I was diagnosed with clinical depression and high functioning anxiety about 2.5-3 years ago. As soon as I figured out something wasn't right, something didn't feel right, I made sure to get help. But that took a while as well because being weak is an antithesis of what an athlete is supposed to be. It took me a while, but it was the best decision I've taken, and it has ever since become my purpose to spread the awareness and make sure everybody knows that it is okay to not be okay. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay if you feel not the best.
होता ये कि जब आस पास के लोग जो बिरादरी वाले होते हैं या जो उनको तो नहीं पता होता कि आपके ऊपर क्या बीत रही है, आपकी असल ज़रूरियात क्या हैं, तो वो उनके प्रेशर्स इतने ज़्यादा होते थे मेरी फैमिली पे कि वो फिर मुझ पे ट्रांसफ़र होते थे.
अपने आप को तन्हाई में ना रखें, बहुत मुश्किल होता है. आपके दोस्तों को ये चाहिए कि वो आपको खींच के बाहर बुलाएं, आपसे मिलने आ जाएं, आपको उठा कर ले जाएं, किसी महफिल का हिस्सा बना दें, अकेला ना छोड़ें आपको.
मेरी फैमिली, मेरे बहन भाई, सब कोई, माय एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली, तो इन सब ये एक कंबाइंड एफर्ट है किसी भी ऐसे बंदे के लिए जो इस ट्रॉमा से गुजरा हो। हमारे पेरेंट्स को हमें कॉन्फिडेंस देने की ज़रूरत है, क्योंकि मेरे केस में ऑल्दो आई वाज अर्निंग गुड और मेरा आगे करियर भी अच्छा है सब कुछ, लेकिन मुझे डर था कि मुझे मेरे पेरेंट्स एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे, वो मेरी गलती समझेंगे, लोग कहेंगे नहीं नहीं ये जॉब करती थी, यही गलत है।
तो मैंने क्या किया, मैंने हेल्प ढूंढी, मांगी और एक थेरेपिस्ट के पास गई जिसने बहुत सारी विजुअलाइजेशन एक्सरसाइजेस, रिटन एक्सरसाइजेस के साथ मेरी बहुत मदद की। मैंने कोई 10 थेरेपी सेशंस किए उनके साथ, बिकॉज अपने दोस्तों और फैमिली से बात करना भी बहुत हेल्पफुल होता है, लेकिन एक प्रोफेशनल के पास जाना जिनका काम है आपको हेल्प करना, जैसे कोई भी डॉक्टर होते हैं, वो मतलब कैंसर के लिए डॉक्टर होते हैं, मतलब हज़ारों चीज़ों के लिए डॉक्टर होते हैं, आपकी मोच हो गई तो उसके लिए डॉक्टर होता है, तो इसी तरह मेंटल हेल्थ के लिए भी प्रोफेशनल्स होते हैं, उनका काम ही होता है कि वो उस पर आपकी मदद करें। सो टू see somebody who's non-judgmental and a professional, मुझे बहुत मदद मिली और मैं उस डार्क पीरियड से बहुत अच्छी तरह से निकल आई और ख़ुद बहुत समझदारी मुझे और इन चीज़ों में आ गई, how to deal with what I was going through.
अगर आप किसी मेंटल हेल्थ के इशू से गुजर रहे हैं या आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि कोई ट्रॉमा जिसके बारे में आप बात करना चाहते हैं, देयर लॉट ऑफ पीपल कमिंग अप, देयर लॉट ऑफ थेरेपिस्ट दैट आर कमिंग अप, तस्कीन जैसी चीज़ें भी हैं जो मेंटल हेल्थ के अंदर डील कर रही हैं, जो प्रोग्रेसिव हैं, जिनके लोग जो इन्वॉल्व हैं वो देयर प्रोग्रेसिव पीपल, जिनको पता है वो क्या कर रहे हैं, सोच समझ के कर रहे हैं, तो प्लीज़ रीच आउट.
But in Pakistan, unfortunately, this subject is taboo. And we never discuss about that. In Pakistan, we say, okay, और इसको in hard language we say इसको जिन्न आ गए हैं, इसके ऊपर कुछ असर हो गया है, and we say उन्हें ये बचपन में जो है ना थोड़ा बीमार रहता था तो weak है, तो ये can't progress. So these are the things, you know, we need to discuss and we need to encourage our family to come up and speak to everyone, you know, like speak to someone at least and tell them what's going in your mind and how you can progress in life. It is time to act. Let's move for mental health.
The world is talking about mental health, but talking is not enough. We need movement on mental health. Most people cannot access mental health support. Up to 90% are not able to receive the care they need, especially in low and middle income countries. In 10 years, depression will put more burden on our nations than any other disease. And the COVID-19 pandemic has made things even worse. This World Mental Health Day, the world will come together to move for mental health, move for investment, for access to support, for rights. Move with me in the world's first virtual 24-hour global march for mental health. It's time for leaders to hear our call. It's time to move for mental health.
I'm James Chow. I'm here in Hong Kong, but I'm calling on leaders everywhere to protect people everywhere. And why is this so important to me? Because every 40 seconds someone dies of suicide somewhere in our beautiful world. It means so much to me because I've been there myself. I know how it feels. And it's not just about saving a life, it's about saving the promise, the potential that each of us holds inside and offers to the people around us. So if you can do something today, do something to help somebody, do something to help yourself.
Mental health is a cross-cutting public health issue which has been neglected over the years. Over 24 million people in Pakistan need psychiatric support, but the available resources are limited. Only around 500 psychiatrists are available for the entire population, and there is a huge treatment gap. We are aware that the mental health disorders multiply at the times of crisis, calamities, and disasters. The current pandemic has triggered the importance of mental health and psychosocial support more than ever.
beyond the physical health and beyond worrying about finances and how this disease would affect them long term. All of this then actually works into affecting people's mental health and mental well-being as well. This is self-evident, but also is borne out by scientific information that indeed this is a phenomenon that needs to be tackled.
So now we have taken endorsement and approval for primary health package and facility, and we have also now finalized for the first level care facility packages for achieving UHC, universal health coverage across the country. And mental health is one very important component of that, and we invited eminent psychiatrists, public health people who are working for mental health as a preventive, for looking at the preventive aspect, and also focusing on the strengthening the referral system right from community till tertiary care, so that such cases who were being missed in large numbers, they could be brought into mainstream and managed appropriately, so that they could become viable subjects of this country, and they are able to become very productive human beings and having a very positive outlook towards the community and supporting their families and friends, and so that is the main objective and aim of this current exercise. And we will be starting off this project within 12 districts, from Islamabad initially to 12 districts and then gradually expanding. So this would sustain these mental health interventions within the health systems, and medicines will be ensured, trainings will be ensured, and the huge treatment gap which exists for those people who require mental health counseling or referral or treatment, so that could be addressed due to this. So community engagement is a very essential, so that's why we have started from community level, engaging the community people. There are community-based organizations, then we have Lady Health Workers program, so engaging through them, so they would be also engaged, oriented, and so that they could identify such individuals and refer to the appropriate facilities so that they are timely managed. So time is essence for such people, and this would avoid a lot of harm and worry for those families who have such individuals suffering from mental health disorders.
I think there is, without a doubt, much greater realization of the fact that physical health alone is not enough. We do require the full well-being of the individual, which includes mental health and happiness and adjustment to the world we live in. And the present world presents enormous challenges to achieving this because of a number of different things, but especially because of the way that the world interacts with each other in today's day and age.
We need to invest in mental health in order to improve access to mental health and well-being of the people. Let's move for mental health and let's invest in mental health.